And we are back. Welcome to my preview and predictions for the second part of the quarterfinals in the Club World Cup after what has been an incredibly emotional 24 hours in the world of football following the passing of both Diogo and Andre Jota. Just another timely reminder that life is just life. It doesn't matter where you come from, who you are, what you do. You just don't know what can happen in life. So, as Martha Jones's mum would always say, never do tomorrow what you can do today because you never know how long you've got. And, well, what we're going to do today is we're going to try and get through these two remaining quarterfinals of the Club World Cup. If you want to see my predictions for today's Club World Cup, you can do so by checking out the link at the top of your screen right now, covering the two games taking place this afternoon and this evening. And as always, before we get into it, if you haven't done so already, please do consider dropping a like on this video, share it with a friend, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here with notifications turned on, so you don't miss out on both the semi-final predictions and the final predictions, as well as all of my previews and predictions for the Women's Euros. And you become a member of this channel as well by clicking the join button at the bottom of your screen, so you gain additional perks if you are choosing to watch this channel as a member. But as for today, these are the two matches we're going to be talking about. Obviously, the two matches today haven't taken place, so our results and our scores are as the same as yesterday's video. So let's get things started with what is without doubt the single biggest game of the Club World Cup so far. It's Paris Saint-Germain taking on Bayern Munich, the champions of France, against the champions of Germany, the current champions of Europe, taking on the six-time champions of Europe, most recently in 2020 when they beat Paris Saint-Germain in that final. Obviously, they are former world champions themselves in Bayern Munich. Since then, these sides have actually played each other on a fair few occasions. In 2021, it went with PSG knocking Bayern Munich out on away goals. Then in 2023, in the round of 16, Bayern Munich knocked out PSG 3-0 on aggregate. And most recently, these sides actually met earlier on this season in the Champions League phase, with Bayern Munich edging out Paris Saint-Germain 1-0. That actually means across the last four meetings of these sides, Paris Saint-Germain have not scored in a single one of them against Bayern Munich. That, though, is, of course, the head-to-head record, and that has not been seen since November of last year. So since then, we obviously know how far Paris Saint-Germain have come in terms of their attacking outlay, their defensive outlay, how well they've played, and it's obviously led to them winning the treble this season. And actually, coming into this quarterfinal, both of these sides have had identical runs of form in terms of results in the lead up to this quarterfinal. 2 wins and a loss in the group phase, and both winning their last 16 matches. However, if you take a little bit of a deeper dive into those results so far, you would have to suggest that Paris Saint-Germain are the side that are having a slightly better tournament over Bayern Munich, because PSG have not conceded more than a single goal. That 1-0 defeat they suffered to Botafogo with a much changed lineup is their only goal conceded and their only defeat in this tournament so far. They've won the other 3 matches without conceding. Whereas for Bayern Munich, off the back of their 10-0 win on match day 1, they have also suffered a defeat, also granted with a much changed side. But they struggled against Boca Juniors in a 2-1 win. And to be fair, they struggled in their 4-2 victory in the last 16 as well. So certainly PSG are the side coming into this with a little bit more momentum. Certainly defensively more momentum. So it does make you seem to suggest that Paris Saint-Germain would be considered the favourites coming into this. Let's not also forget that Paris Saint-Germain beat Inter Milan in the final of the Champions League this season with a scoreline of 5-0. Bayern Munich were, of course, knocked out by Inter Milan across the 2 legs in the quarter-final stages. So a lot of reasons to consider PSG as the victors for this one. In terms of the team news, no fresh injury or suspension concerns for either side, but there are some big decisions that need to be made from both managers. For Luis Enrique and Paris Saint-Germain, Ousmane Dembele will now be fit to start. So will he come into the starting lineup? Who will be dropping out of that starting lineup for Dembele? You'd expect the goalkeeper and the back four probably the midfield three to stay the same. But that front line, with all their attacking talent, someone's going to have to miss out if Dembele's going to come back into it. Who do you think it is going to be? And for Bayern Munich, again, a couple of rotation options available to them. Thomas Muller could come back in. Musiala, despite now being given the number 10 shirt, still hasn't made a start in the Club World Cup so far. There could also be a rotation in the back line at either centre-back or left-back. I think the actual structure of the midfield we'd expect to remain the same, but who knows? Vincent Kompany has been rotating around a lot this tournament. Ultimately, though, I think PSG are going to be the side to get the victory here. I do expect there to be goals in it. I do think both sides are going to score, despite PSG's very good defensive record in this tournament, and despite the fact that they haven't scored against Bayern Munich in the last 4. I'm going for a PSG victory, and I'm going for a 3-1 victory to the current European champions. The other game taking place tomorrow sees another pair of recent Champions League finalists, Real Madrid and Borussia Dortmund, who actually played out the 2024 Champions League final, with Real Madrid securing the title and Dortmund coming up short once again. This originally would have been billed as the Bellingham derby, as the first proper opportunity for Jude Bellingham to play against Jobe Bellingham, following Jude's move to Real Madrid and Jobe's move to Borussia Dortmund in the last month. But Jobe has only gone and got himself suspended by picking up a yellow card in the group stage and a yellow card in the last 16 match. So Jobe is not going to have the opportunity to play against his brother. And to be honest, again, if we look at the form of these two teams, he might be quite grateful that he's not going to be coming up against his brother in this one, because Real Madrid, despite, again, like with the first game, despite both of these sides having identical records on the run to this tournament quarter-final, it is Real Madrid that you would say have had the more impressive tournament so far. Both teams drew on match day 1. But from there, Real Madrid have gone from strength to strength, winning their next 3 games, not conceding since switching to the 5-3-2 setup that Marcos Alonso, that Xabi Alonso has deployed, obviously incredibly successfully at Bayer Leverkusen. You can see, especially in that Juventus game, why they almost went the entire season unbeaten in Germany across all competitions under Alonso at Leverkusen. He knows how to play that system. He knows how to get the best out of that system defensively. And with the attacking prowess Real Madrid have, it does look like they're going to be a real dangerous force with that setup in play. Not conceding and still scoring. Whereas for Borussia Dortmund, they are leaking goals. Their performances haven't been great. They've not won a single game in this tournament by more than 1 goal. Yes, they did do a very good start against Monterrey, but if you actually look at the stats of that last 16 game, after those 2 goals, they didn't really offer that much at all. And come the full-time whistle, Monterrey had more possession and more chances as well. So for me, I just don't think Borussia Dortmund have what it takes right here, right now, to get the result against Real Madrid. In terms of the team news, as we've already mentioned, Jobe Bellingham is going to be suspended, so someone's going to have to come in for him. But kind of like with Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund have been rotating a lot of their players in and out of the side across this tournament so far, so it wouldn't surprise me to see changes in their structure anyway. For Real Madrid, very much like Paris Saint-Germain, they're going to have a tough decision to make because their star Frenchman is back as well. Kylian Mbappe should be available to start here, but will he be given the nod over Garcia, who has been fantastic so far in this tournament, scoring in 3 of the 4 matches? Furthermore, Dani Carvajal is back and available. Is he going to come back into the side? Can you really drop Trent after his performance in the last 16 game with his wonderful assist? I don't know. To be honest with you, though, I think, again, regardless of what the lineups are, I think Real Madrid are going to be considered the strong favourites here. The head-to-head record is terrible as well. I mentioned that Real Madrid beat Dortmund in the Champions League final last season. This season, they've played in the Champions League as well. Real Madrid won that game 5-2, although to be fair, Dortmund were 2-0 up in that match. So who knows, maybe a bright start, maybe this time they hold on. But to be honest, as I've already mentioned, I think Real Madrid, with their structure, with the new setup under Alonso, they look so much more solid defensively that I really do fail to see where Borussia Dortmund are going to break them down. And with the pace and the ability that Madrid have on the counter-attack, if Dortmund don't get this right, I think they're in serious trouble of losing this one here. The only saving grace for Dortmund is if they sit back, we saw how hard it was for Real Madrid to break down Juventus. So if they play it right, I think there's a chance Dortmund could force extra time and maybe penalties. But with the quality available to Real Madrid, I have them as favourites. I think they are going to get the job done in 90 minutes. It was just whether or not you do a toss-up between 1-0 or 2-0. I've opted for 2-0 to Real Madrid. Like I say, I think Dortmund can score, but I think with the setup the way it is, I don't think they will score. I think Real Madrid will get in to the semi-finals to face Paris Saint-Germain in what is an all-European side of this World Cup quarter-final draw. As always, let me know all your thoughts down in the comment section below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. Thank you very much for watching as always. I'll be back for my semi-final preview and predictions once all of these games have been wrapped up. So thank you very much for watching once again, and I'll see you there.